Hi everyone, welcome to the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name's Steve Reeves and I'll be our host tonight. Our subject is Memory Matters. We've got a couple of great guests, some great giveaways, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Portions of this show have been made possible by PC People, Houston's user-friendly source for business software, serving the business and academic communities. Call PC People at 789-6300 and talk to our dedicated staff when you're looking for intelligent answers to your software needs. And by Total CAD Systems, specializing in the sales, service, and support of CAD software and hardware for the PC, Macintosh, and Sun. Total CAD Systems is an authorized dealer for AutoCAD, the leader in computer-aided design software. Call 721-CADD. By GDT Reprographic Services. Providing documentation to the professional design industry using advanced technologies and personalized service. GDT, where you're more than a number. Call for free pickup and delivery.
The old computer you're putting out to pasture has the power to give new life. Computers you're going to scrap can keep millions of people from ending up on the scrap heap and being written off. Old computers donated to the National Christina Foundation are used to train people with differing abilities so they're alive with the skills society needs. Donate your old computers and other equipment to NCF. Call 1-800-CHRISTINA. Machines you can write off. People you can't.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, my name's Steve Reeves. This is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. And our subject tonight is Memory Matters. We've got a couple of great guests tonight, and we'll introduce them in just a minute. There's a couple announcements I need to make. One, this is a live show. The phone number, if you have any questions on the topic that we're going to talk about tonight, the phone number is 861-6283, and I think that a little slide will pop up in a while there. And we do have a hotline that you can call in. The phone number is, you can leave messages, what you'd like to see on future shows, comments, whatever you want. The phone number is, I always have to look down here for this, the hotline. It's 587-5369, and we also have a slide in one of the breaks for that when the phone number comes up. The one other thing I want to say is next week's show, I know this is early to talk about next week's show, but it is with Carlos. He'll have the show, and it'll be talking about Amiga computers. That ought to be a great show for graphics and things. I guess that's we went. What probably what to do. Oh, one other thing, we do have some gifts to give away, and we'll talk about those. But one of the things we are going to give away is 2 Rockets tickets for Saturday night's game. It's Halloween, so I can't use the tickets because I'm going to be going out Halloweening, and so I'll give my tickets away. But I guess without further ado, I ought to introduce our guests. We have 2 guests. First one is Dave Aldridge, and the second is, well, we'll show him in a minute here, Roger Thompson. Before we go any further, why don't you, welcome to the show, guys.
Well, thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thanks for coming, I guess.
Good to be here.
First, why don't we start with you, Dave, and just tell us a little about yourself, what you do, maybe your company, and why you're here.
Well, I'm president and chief bottle washer of the Aldridge Company. We are a software publishing company. We have 4 products in the marketplace: Precursor, Tree 86, Cache 86, and Alt Edit. And I have to say hello to my babies. Hi, Brittany, Lindsay.
Okay. Okay, each one of you get to say that one. No, okay, well, Roger, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit about, I know you'll be explaining about what you do and things, but why don't you just tell us what you do? And
okay. Well, I work for Wellcam Incorporated here in Houston. I have been land manager for several years, and now it turns out I'm getting to work a little bit with our mini computers too, so it's been an interesting experience to say the least. In land management, we have a lot of problems getting people's programs to all work together.
Right.
And memory management's been quite a problem, so I've had to learn it by trial and error.
Right. Memory management seems to be a problem for a lot of people, especially with all the programs, the big programs that are coming out, and DOS 5.0 and Windows and everything else. You work with Dean, right?
Correct.
One of our other hosts.
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's great. Why don't we, I guess what we ought to do is explain a little bit about, we've got a slideshow we'll show here. Before we go any further, one thing, there is a slight flicker on the screen. I always have to, apologize for flicker, but we have a little program that does this, but it didn't seem to take care of this. It must be some syncing problem between the monitor and the camera, so just ignore the flicker. Just pretend it's my friend Flicker. Anyways, why don't we go through, why don't you go ahead and start showing, well, what do you have here? Is this computer first? I saw this little computer. That's a fun little thing there.
This is the new compact laptop color. Has VGA color, 120 meg hard drive. Quite a nice little
It's
machine.
great. Is it an SX machine?
No, it's 25 megahertz.
Oh, it's great. It has absolutely nothing to do with the show, but I just thought I'd comment. That's a great looking computer. Why don't you go ahead and start showing us this little slideshow?
Well, let's look at what happens when you turn your machine on. The computer goes through what's called the power on self-test.
Right.
And this counts memory as well as tests it to make sure that it's good. And what happens is, as the post continues, it'll either display the total amount of memory or it'll display the conventional memory and then the extended memory. Okay, after it gets to 640, notice that what it's actually looking at is starting at 1024 again. Here we see total memory is 704, but we get 640 and 64 if we're displaying both.
All right.
And the post will continue until it runs out of memory. On this particular example, I just picked a machine that had 1 meg of memory, but this will continue up to 64 or 16 megs on a ISA machine.
I know someone's going to call in. This is actually a slideshow. It's not counting the memory on that computer.
Exactly.
So it's just a representation of what happened. It's not really running the memory test of that computer right now.
Correct. I just tried to depict here the two different types of machines that when you actually turn your machine on, this is
those are the little numbers
displayed.
that show up on the corner of your screen.
Right. Very important numbers. Notice that we haven't counted any memory here.
Right.
But this is what expanded memory management is all about on Intel-based machines. What we want to do is see if we can get some memory in here so that we can not load programs in conventional memory here, but get them up here so that we can put real big programs in conventional memory. And conventional memory is the first 640K of memory. We have many different classifications that really contribute to overall confusion of memory management. Some of them are conventional memory, which is just defined as the first 640K. We have high, upper, and reserve, depending on who you're talking to and when you talk to them. These terms are pretty much interchangeable. Upper memory seems to be the vogue to use right now. We have some extended memory that starts at 1024, and the first 64K of that, minus about 6 bytes actually, is called the HMA. This is originally, I understand, due to an error that Intel made in their original 286 processors. It's been so useful, though, that they've never bothered to fix this particular problem.
Kind of like the Edlin command. I heard that was a mistake to begin with. They just kept it, and it's still around to today. I guess the same sort of deal. They just kind of kept it there.
Yeah, the HMA has proved very useful.
Right. I still use Edlin, though.
I do too. It's the one editor I know that all IBM type PCs will have available. Extended memory we define as everything above 1024K.
Right.
Expanded memory is not real memory, but what we've done to extended memory. It's also what we do to the upper memory area here. And then some machines have something called shadow RAM that they can put up in near the 16 meg area to get to speed up your video and your BIOS. Not all machines do this, and you can usually turn it on or off depending on what you want to do.
Those are a lot in the BIOS setup when you start the computer, like hit Control-Alt or something like that, or Alt-Escape or whatever, right?
Of course, if your machine doesn't provide that, you can do it with the modern memory managers like QEMM and Mac 386 to the max.
Yeah, jump in here anytime. That's what I'm saying. We don't want you to get away with saying nothing.
And correct me.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, but if he says anything wrong, just smack him or something.
Yeah, we had some problems with our artist here too.
Oh, okay.
That Dave will point.
I would suggest one thing on the previous screen. This entire area between 640 and 1 meg that whole area really isn't called expanded, as the
Right.
graph would indicate.
Yeah.
There's actually, when you set up expanded memory, the expanded memory manager defines a maximum of a 64K block of memory in that area, which is actually 384K, and that becomes what's called a page frame, and then other memory is mapped into that page up to 64K at a time. That area is used also by your video buffer, your video BIOS, your hard drive or controller, and your ROM BIOS. So not all of it's available for mapping memory into unused address space and loading programs into, but frequently you do have substantial areas that are available.
I think one of your slides actually shows parts where it's not used, and there's just a little section used.
Correct. This area is usually broken up quite a lot.
Will you take a quick break here real fast?
Okay.
All right. Before we go any further, we need to take a quick break. By the way, this is a live show, like I always say. The phone number is 861-6283. If you have any questions about memory, I know I've got plenty. So, and be sure to call in because we will be giving away some prizes. So call. The phone number is 861-6283. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never, ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
If you took away a star for every 1 million people who didn't vote, and a stripe for every 5 million non-voters, and a patch of blue for the 10 million people who didn't care, exactly what kind of flag are we waving?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, my name's Steve Reeves. Well, my name came up. Steve Reeves. This is the American Computer Enthusiast Show, and our subject tonight is Memory Matters. And we've got two guests here. We've got Dave and we've got Roger here. And you've already missed the introduction, so we may have to go over a little bit after, but no, we really don't have to. Everybody knows who you guys are. We're going through a slideshow right now explaining memory and everything about memory. So why don't you just continue here and just keep going and explain everything. Okay. And by the way, phone calls for giveaways, 861-6283.
Okay. We also have some extended memory standards. DOS 5 uses XMS standard, where we can load DOS into the HMA that we talked about earlier. Quarterdeck and Farlap and I think Rational Systems, among several other companies, were involved with the VCPI, or Virtual Control Program Interface.
Right.
That several programs still use, but it's going out of favor in these days in favor of DPMI, the DOS Protected Mode Interface that I believe Microsoft first announced a couple of years ago. Well, now that we know about memory, the thing is, what do we do with it? Well, as Dave mentioned earlier, we have lots of areas in this 640 to 1 meg memory area that have things in them. There may be a network adapter, video ROM may be in there somewhere. We have high resolution graphics. So it breaks this area up into several sections. And what we want to be able to do is two things. We want to be able to see if we can put or appear to put programs in these areas. And we may also want to run a program like Lotus where we have access to large amounts of expanded memory for very large spreadsheets.
Right.
And we can use expanded memory standards. EMS 3.2 was the original one. Also, some people pretty much consider LIMS and EMS 3.2 the same thing. They're very close.
Right.
EMS from AST allowed us to do some other things. And these days, EMS 4.0 is the standard expanded memory management specification.
So when you see on a box for an expansion board, you see LIM 4.0 or EMS, it means the same thing, EMS 4.0?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I have lots of questions.
Surely. Well, what can we do with these? Well, here's the artistic problem that I mentioned earlier. These programs that are loaded up here actually ought to be down at the bottom here. But basically, what we have is a situation where we have this big program that we want to run, but it doesn't fit. Now, you know, we may have a program such as Sidekick, a TSR that's loaded that we really don't want to get rid of.
Right.
We may have some device drivers and such that we don't want to get rid of. And this little program here, this is probably that program that when I'm running Solitaire or Tetris and my boss walks in the door, it'll pop up a fake spreadsheet for me.
Right.
So I don't get in big trouble. Well, I certainly don't want to get rid of him. So what can we do about this situation? Well, one thing is we can take some extended memory and make it appear to be in this area so that we can run programs. We use an expanded memory manager to do this, and we map these blocks down to the 640 to 1024K area. Now, when we load a program, or when we start up our machine, we can tell it, use one of the load high programs to tell it to actually put it in this area, freeing up some of our conventional memory, and lo and behold, we can load our large program like Lotus. I still have access to this program and to all of these other programs, and we're very happy. Do you have any?
Well, one of the ways that the memory managers accomplish this magic is by shifting the computer, which boots up generally into what's called real mode. Many of you more technical people will have heard that term. It switches it from real mode to what's called virtual 86 mode. And that gives the memory manager the access to the entire pool of memory and the ability to remap the addresses at which that memory will appear. So it using the fact that using the capability of virtual 86 mode, it's able to map memory into the upper memory areas, as Roger had said, make it appear as though it really existed there.
Right.
Okay.
Continue.
So now we've got our situation where everything is happy. Another situation is, for example, with Lotus 2.x products, we have a huge spreadsheet that we need to run on our machine, but of course our machine with DOS only has 640K that we can really use.
Right.
If we set up a page frame and map it to extended memory and then change the area that map is occurred to, or that map points to, we can have a sliding window, as it were, on the data.
Right.
We don't need to move the data over here, but all we need to do is make this address look like that one,
Right.
so that essentially we end up with a window on all of the extended memory, giving, for example, Lotus a very huge data space to work with spreadsheets.
Yeah, actually, this should be expanded.
Yes,
rather
this
than
is
extended.
Yes, this is extended memory that's being mapped, which is expanded memory.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's watching, because there will be a test when this is all finished on all these different things. Go ahead.
Okay. DOS5 has a couple of memory managers with it. EMM386.exe is the expanded memory manager, and we have HiMemSys. Now, I've just shown it here on the HMA portion of memory. Actually, HiMemSys has to be loaded first for EMM386 to be able to even start up.
Right.
But the main focus of it is that we can load DOS High in this HMA.
Right. Let me ask you, we have a phone call. You want to take the phone caller now just to
Certainly.
see what that is, and we can go on with this.
Certainly.
Just hold on 1 second. It's Irv. Welcome back to the show, Irv. You have a question?
Yeah, it's with regard to being able to get as much contiguous high memory, because, sometimes it's chopped up, and if you want to load a program high, you can't do it because there's not enough room. But if you were able to sort of make it contiguous, you might be able to get a high memory block in order to fit it in. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
You're asking.
Way of doing that.
You're asking how to maximize that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll field that.
Okay.
You're limited. There's some things you can't do anything about. You can't do anything about your video buffer. That's going to get mapped from alpha 000 to BFFF. And what you can do very frequently is pull one 32K block out that was used for the monochrome video buffer that's generally not being used. But that's a fragmented piece. That's one 32K piece. At the, I wish we had, the various segments in this 384K are Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Fox, okay? At C000 to C800, generally you're going to have video BIOS, and you can't do anything about that. Beginning with C800 and going up through part of the Fox segment, you generally do have some control. The things you might want to look at are modifying the location of your page frame so that it doesn't fit in the middle of two chunks of memory, because by moving it up to the top or the bottom, you're going to have one large contiguous chunks instead of two smaller ones. The memory managers tend to refer to these blocks, these different blocks, as regions. All they are is just when you lack continuity and you have to stop and go on to another place, they refer to the first one, the lowest one, as region 1, the next one's region 2, etc. But they're, depending on how your machine was set up, if you're on a PS2, IBM decided that they'd use the echo segment for you. That's 64K that you lost. On the ISA bus, you generally have more capability and you have a little bit more flexibility, but there's really not a whole lot you can do other than pick where your page frame's going to go.
But if you don't use expanded memory, do you still get a page frame?
No, you can choose not to use expanded memory and forego the page frame. You lose that capability, and you may lose some features in some programs by not having it, but that would free up 64K.
Yes, there's a parameter to EMM386.exe that is no EMS that kills the page frame, so that it will allow you to use more area for your programs, for loading programs high. One other thing I might mention is if you work with networks, quite often you can change the address of network boards from like D000. You might want to change it to CC00.
Yeah, good point, Roger.
Is there a consensus of which memory manager is the easiest to set up and to use?
Your choices really are QEMM or 386 to the max, and they both involve tinkering to get them just right. By the way, I forgot one other piece of memory you frequently can grab. A lot of people don't know about. There's some risk associated with it, but you can, on many machines, you can map into the F segment, which will often, especially on BIOSes that are about 3 years old, contain code that isn't used after the bootstrap process in the first 32K. You can sometimes grab as much as 32K up into the Fox segment and load programs where your ROM BIOS used to be. There's some risk associated with that, though.
Usually, I believe that's where the post is located.
That's right.
And once your machine starts up, you certainly don't need to have the post available again to you.
If you do try that, be sure that after doing it, everything may look good. Do everything you can think of that your computer can do. Run all your software. Access drive A. If you forget to access a floppy, you may go for days without hitting the code that deals with floppy drives. As soon as you do, if you've got RAM mapped in there and the BIOS is no longer there, you're gonna have a problem. So you got to fiddle with it.
I have one more question.
All right.
Manifest still the only piece of software that will give you a map of high memory?
No. I have a product called Map 86 that comes with everything we have that'll tell you what's in high memory.
What is that, Map 86?
Yeah.
When did that come out?
Well, it's a utility that we include with all of our software.
Oh, really? Even Precursor?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that. I'm a Precursor user. I didn't even know you had that.
Good man. I like you already. What's your name?
Irv.
Greenbaum.
Hi, Irv.
Hi.
Irv calls out.
If you don't have it, call me at the office and I'll get you a copy.
We'll do that. Okay, thanks a lot.
Irv calls all the time. Thanks for calling, Irv.
Good, thanks, Reeves. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I was going to mention, Steve alluded to valuable gifts.
Right, that's the next thing I'd ask you. What?
I volunteered. We couldn't come up with a better idea, so last time we did kind of a techie question, but this time we're going to get goofy.
It is Halloween.
That's right. Of the people who call and ask questions, the first 10, or the 10 people who guess our cumulative ages the closest, the three of us, will win their choice of Precursor, Tree 86, or Cache 86. So when you call in, make your guess about our ages, state which product you want.
And Irv can call. Irv, we took care of Irv.
Irv, when he calls me tomorrow, he can tell me which.
Okay.
He can tell me his guess.
Yeah, we don't want to penalize Irv. Irv's calls all the time.
Do I get to guess?
No.
You're an insider.
Okay.
No fair.
Okay, we have another phone call. You want to take the phone call?
Yeah.
Why don't we just take another phone call first? George, you have a question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sometimes when you load up, or you try to load a segment high, it won't go in there, but I don't know how to say it. It looks like it takes more to load up, and then it kind of scrunches down.
Right.
But when you take a look at it like mem/c,
You said a segment. Are you talking about?
But it takes like 24 or 30 to load. Why is that?
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Several programs have this feature where they require a lot more memory to initialize.
Right.
But once they're finished going through all their procedures for initialization, they throw away that code, so they take up a lot less space. QEMM and 386 Max will both allow you to temporarily overwrite the HMA, or excuse me, not the page frame,
right,
so that these programs that require more memory to load can go ahead and load, overwrite the page frame for a while, and then give it back to the system.
In some cases, the QEMM and 386 the Max just are are in error about the amount of memory that a program takes to load. One example is our disk cache program. It appears to those memory managers to need almost 500 K to load, to initialize. But the EMS model will go resident in as little as 1K. We don't need 500K to initialize. It's just it's a bad interpretation by the memory managers. But we're using a technique to help us be smaller once we do go resident, and it's fooling the memory managers. When you run into that case, it doesn't always require the amount that they're telling you it needs to initialize. So you can experiment with giving it smaller amounts and see if your computer hangs when you boot.
Any other questions?
Just like one observation.
All right.
When the PCs first came out, they were, for the masses to turn on, put on your desk and turn on. Now it seems like you have to have a PhD in computer science in order to optimize the memory to get as much as 640 of the 640K that you can. It's somewhat maddening that a product that was supposed to be meant for the simpleton to work with is so everybody devotes so much time and effort to try to wring the most performance out of it, I guess. And one question, will Windows NT obliviate these memory problems?
Well, I don't know that these are memory problems. They're sort of memory opportunities. With the older PC, it was simpler, but you didn't have the control. You didn't have the ability to get more memory. You don't have to fiddle with this stuff, but if you want to optimize your system, you do. And there are tools that are coming out that help make it easier. But I don't know, the story on Windows NT is out. Whether it's going to simplify things or complicate them, it's hard to guess right now.
Right. All right. Why don't you guys, do you have any other questions?
No, not really.
Forgot you on the phone
for
there.
the ages, let's see.
All right. Well, we need to take a break anyway. Sorry to cut you off there. Is that all right?
How about 85 years?
Oh, the 85?
85 for the total.
Well, you're close, but not quite.
Okay.
All right. Close enough, though. Hey, thanks for calling.
Thanks a lot.
We've got to take a quick break here. We'll come back and finish this slideshow. We're here with Dave Aldridge and Roger Thompson. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
The old computer you're putting out to pasture has the power to give new life. Computers you're going to scrap can keep millions of people from ending up on the scrap heap and being written off. Old computers donated to the National Christina Foundation are used to train people with differing abilities so they're alive with the skills society needs. Donate your old computers and other equipment to NCF. Call 1-800-CHRISTINA. Machines you can write off. People you can't.
We can prevent the unthinkable. A flood with no Red Cross shelter. A fire and no Red Cross volunteer. A tornado victim without hope. Yet last year was devastating to the Red Cross. 8,000 major disasters. As a result, our ability to help disaster victims is threatened. Please help. Call 1-800-842-2200 and prevent the unthinkable from happening.
Jeffrey, hitting is wrong. You're bigger, you're stronger. You cool off and you don't hit. Period. Is that understood? Is it?
Well, is it? Take time out. Don't take it out on your child. A public service message from the National Committee for the Prevention of Child Abuse.
Set a goal to give 5 hours a week and 5% of your income to the causes you care about. The rewards will make you feel like a winner every day of your life.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name's Steve Reeves, and I'm the host. And we have two guests tonight. We have Dave Aldridge and Roger Thompson, and we're talking about memory matters, or memory matters. We've got a slideshow here. I think what we're going to do, we've got some people on the phone. but we'll finish the slideshow real fast and then we'll start taking. The other thing is, someone named Bill Curry called, and the number that you gave us, there's something strange with the number. We can't get a hold of you, so could you please call back so we can get your right number so you can guess at our ages. Who cares about the prizes? You want to win, and just want to make sure that our ages are right. But just call it Bill Curry. I feel like I'm an announcer at the Astrodome or something like Bill Curry, please call. Go ahead.
Okay, well, as I was mentioning, HiMemSys is the program that allows us to use to load for DOS to go into the HMA. And the way we can do this, and I don't know if you can read this or not, but what we have here is HiMemSys has to be loaded first.
Hold on 1 second. It's going to come up on the screen here. Just hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
Okay. HiMemSys has to be loaded first before EMM386.exe. The important part about the EMM386 line is we need the word RAM at the end of the startup line. This actually is all one line. I just didn't have room for it here.
Now this is an example, like I said, I don't know if they can read that. This is an example of a config.sys file that you would have in your root directory.
Correct. You can do things like tell it how much memory to allow for your EMM. You can tell it where the page frame should start. So as Dave mentioned earlier, you can move the page frame around to maximize the amount of upper memory, contiguous upper memory that you have. You can exclude some areas if the memory manager doesn't recognize where your video is, for example. You can exclude that area so that you don't step on your video and lock the machine up. You can include some areas, as Dave mentioned, the F area is the low F area is a good candidate to try. One thing before you make any changes to your config.sys file, make sure you make a bootable floppy disk. This is very important. I can tell you from very sad experience. Not only make a bootable floppy disk, but test it before you actually start making any changes.
Make sure it does boot up from that A drive.
Correct. Otherwise, I'm sure that there's people that would be happy to come out and help you fix the system.
For free, I'm sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Small charge anyway. Anyway, now that we have some expanded memory set up, we can load high, for example, ANSI-sys and config.sys. We can also put the high, UMB parameters on DOS to allow DOS to load itself in the HMA and also give the other programs expanded memory to load.
Right.
Again, make a bootable disk. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, because you start changing some of this, you may turn the computer back on and nothing comes up or just locks up, right?
Yes.
If you're trying to optimize, you're going to fiddle with things,
Right.
and it will.
9 times out of 10.
Almost guaranteed.
Kind of like programming. It never works the first time. Unless I write it.
We've mentioned some other memory managers that are available also. QMM 386 from QuarterDeck and 386 Max from Qualitas. Both of these programs offer additional functionality. One nice thing about them is that they combine both extended and expanded memory management in one program.
Right.
Instead of having 2 or 3 programs to manage your memory, you can just load one program to do that. They also offer auto setup and optimization. Both have gotten quite good at optimization. Dave mentioned a particular case where it doesn't work too well, but it's better than doing it by hand. At least we have a starting place now. For example, on my computer at home, when I do an optimize with QEMM, it tries something like 6 million combinations before it gives me an answer of how it wants to set things up. I could probably do a little bit better if I then started from there and went forward.
Right.
But it's quite a good optimization procedure generally. There will be exceptions. All PCs weren't created equal.
Right.
Both offer system analysis and reporting tools. QMM has a product called Manifest that is included with the package.
That's what Irv was talking about.
Correct. And 386 Max has a program called ASQ that Qualitas includes with the package.
Yeah.
Both are quite nice reporting tools. The downside, and I don't know if the viewers can see this, is these are not free.
Right.
They do cost money, but they're very good at what they do. I've put here compatibility, although probably you will find that DOS 5 memory managers will crash and burn before either one of these do. So, but there may be an example out there. I mean, we have a lot of software.
Right.
And basically that's memory management condensed and pushed into a little box and terribly oversimplified.
I have one quick thing that I would add under the auto setup and optimization. Both memory managers in a lot of text these days tout changing the stacks command or adding the stacks command to your configsys file, stacks 0, 0, which eliminates what are hardware stack areas. I've found several areas where this can cause insidious, very difficult to pinpoint problems. If you run a program that does a lot of quick calls to DOS for disk activity, for example, without checking the clock, checking the keyboard and things like that, which frequently you're going to do if you're trying to make the program run as fast as possible, your hardware interrupts can pile up, causing an overflow on one of the programs, or perhaps DOS, that's running at the time. The 0, 0 can cause crashes that you can't explain. If you're having unexpected crashes from time to time and you don't understand why, I would try rimming that stacks 0, 0 out. The reason I mention it is that both memory managers advise that, and you're saving 1K of RAM, which is just not worth a single problem.
All right. Great. We've got some phone calls. Actually, we've got 3 different lines ringing here.
Oh, right.
We better take some of them.
Sure.
Let me take the first one here. Gloria, do you have a question?
Yes, hi. I'd like to know if their product would work if I was using, okay, on my computer I have a 46SX20, and it has 2 megs of memory. And I'm running programs like DBase 4, Paradox, Harvard Graphics, and WordPerfect. And I just want to know, would their product help my programs work better as far as it being it's like a multitasker, correct?
No.
No? Will it include the actual 2 megs of memory that I have? Or
Well, the documentation for your various programs will tell you if they'll benefit by ancillary memory or by additional memory. Just adding memory won't necessarily give you anything unless you're running something that can take advantage of it. I'd look at the documentation for your various programs.
Do you have any other questions? Did we answer it?
Well, as far as their ages, I think a total of your ages, correct?
Right.
I would say I came up with a total of 136.
Oh, that's close, but not quite.
All they have to do is get close.
Yeah, all you have to do is get close.
Yeah, the 10 closest win.
Right. So you're a winner. So it's, you're close enough.
Great.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
We've got another caller here. Jim, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I was wondering, the memory managers that you just got them talking about, do they retrieve or let you use more memory than you would get if you just messed around with your config.sys file by yourself? And if they do, how much extra memory do they usually end up giving you?
You mean if you just use plain everything that comes with DOS? You mean?
Include the like IF000-F4FF statement or something like that in your config.sys file, so you try and reclaim extra memory.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure I got the question. Did you get it, Roger?
I think so. I take it you want to know if these memory management auto setups will give you more memory than what you could do by hand. Is that what we're looking for here?
Yeah, that was the question.
Okay. Well, Quite often, yes. Not as good as if you do it, let me put it this way. The way I work with my memory manager is I let it optimize and do as good as it can possibly do, which is usually much quicker than I could ever possibly try all the various combinations of programs that I use in that area. And after I finish with that, then I'll look and see if there are any other additional items. Now, the latest versions of QEMM 386 and 386 Max will also employ what Quarterdeck calls a stealth feature, that if you can use it, will give you much more memory than DOS 5 can possibly give you. But it's real iffy as to whether or not it will work on your particular system. The best thing is to try it out and see if it does. If it does, fine. You can have more memory than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, actually, you can come close to doing what stealth will do for you without it. And for most people, I don't recommend stealth, personally.
All right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Or your comment?
That's it.
Great, thanks. Do you want to guess for the prize?
Yeah, I'll guess 128.
Wow, that's pretty close.
Give you a hint, viewers, we're a little younger.
I know I'm a lot younger. I don't know. But well, you came close, but you win. So you're one of the winners.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks for calling. We have another caller here. Oh, I hit line 2. Is someone on line 2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Tom.
Yeah.
All right, but I pushed the wrong button there. Sorry about that.
Well, what I want to know is why, if DOS loads up, if you set up in your config.sys to load HiMemSys, AutoCAD won't run.
Say that again. Say that question again.
Okay, if you have DOS load up your config.sys load up HiMem, then the HiMem.sys file, then it won't AutoCAD. It makes AutoCAD crawl.
What version of AutoCAD? 11?
10.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's the problem right there. It's not compatible. There's a problem. Is this regular 10 or 1036?
It's 1036.
See, the problem is the FarLap DOS extender. It's not compatible. The only way it'll work is to get rid of the HiMem.sys. I'm an AutoCAD dealer. So I'll answer this question.
Yeah,
you did good.
Now, 11 is compatible with the 11C2 or 12.
Yeah.
But you have only till tomorrow to upgrade to release 12 for $500.
Oh, really?
Little hint there. I just thought I'd throw that in. The price goes up on Monday, so you better do it fast. And it is compatible with the HiMem.sys, but the release 10 is not compatible with HiMem.sys.
Because it uses the FarLap.
Right. They both try to use the same memory, and so it's just a big old mess.
Nice.
Same thing when you get Windows in there, Windows and release 10 and HiMem.sys, it turns into a big mess.
On release 11 and release 12, can you use Windows first? Can you first load Windows and then run AutoCAD afterwards?
11, there's a few problems. 12 is no problem.
Oh, really?
Right.
They fixed that.
Yes, it'll actually work in a DOS window.
Oh, good. Okay, and my guess is 93.
Oh, you're way off.
But we like you.
Yeah, thanks.
Do I
I'm
get
only
a prize just for
16.
being nice?
Right. Well, close enough. All right. Okay, thanks for calling.
All right. Well.
All right. We have another caller. Want to take another caller?
Sure.
Larry, you have a question?
Yes, about parity errors. Will memory managers solve or cause parity errors?
No.
They won't. Is it all just hardware then?
If you have parity errors, what do you know if it's parity 1 or parity 2?
It doesn't say. The screen just goes blue and it says it's a parity error just every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, generally, what that means is you've got a RAM chip that's weak, going bad. It's probably working when the machine, when the board, when the bus warms up. Well, I'm sorry, not the bus. When the system board warms up, the chip may start working right. You probably need to have your service people look for a weak chip and replace it.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot then.
Oh, yeah, what's the guess?
Okay, how about 115?
Well, you're close, but not quite.
All right. Thanks.
We'll give you a hint. Jim was real close.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Yeah.
We have one more call. You want to keep calling? People keep calling in. I guess this is a good topic.
If we don't talk to them, we're going to have to talk to you.
Oh, okay, thanks. Well, why don't we do this? We'll take a quick caller here. Dan, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I'm running.
Ask one.
I'm running a DOS, Dr. DOS 6.0, and I'm having trouble whenever if I use 386 Qantas or the memory manager folks. Will it work okay with that? Because I just don't seem to be able to get it to work with Dr. DOS.
Yes, it will work with it.
Okay, well, I've tried to put it in there before, and it hangs up when I try to tell it to optimize. It just, goes out and freezes the machine up, and I have to back it all out.
Either call Quarterdeck or Digital. Either one of them will, I'm sure, be happy to help you get it set up.
Okay, because finally I just had to go back to a high mem sys. I do a lot of Windows and use a high mem sys and their smart drive.
Larry, can you hold on for 1 second? We'll finish answering this in the break. We need to take. Oh, is this Dan or Larry?
Dan.
Dan. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Dan. We need to take a quick break here, and so why don't we'll answer your question during the break, and if there's anything that we need to tell anybody, when we come back, we'll answer it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Portions of this show have been made possible by PC People, Houston's user-friendly source for business software, serving the business and academic communities. Call PC People at 789-6300 and talk to our dedicated staff when you're looking for intelligent answers to your software needs. And by Total CAD Systems, specializing in the sales, service, and support of CAD software and hardware for the PC, Macintosh, and Sun. Total CAD Systems is an authorized dealer for AutoCAD, the leader in computer-aided design software. Call 721-CADD. And by Arc Image, creators of award-winning computer graphics and animation. For advertising, illustration, presentation, and communications, Arc Image can show you a better way to tell your story.
Well, D87-4, you did a great job for us for years.
Oh, boy. Enjoy your retirement.
So it's time to retire your old computer. Instead of writing it off as useless, donate it to the National Christina Foundation, where it can give new life by training people with differing abilities to sparkle with the skills society needs. Donate your old computers to the National Christina Foundation. Call 1-800-CHRISTINA. Machines you can write off. People you...
That's our Halloween. That's our tribute to Halloween there. I was going to wear, I looked everywhere today trying to find the glasses with the big nose and everything, but I decided it wouldn't make any difference. No one would know I was wearing them. So I decided not to get them, big nose. Anyway, we've got a couple of callers. We only have a few minutes left, so we've got a bunch of callers. We need to get as many as we can. So let's take a call right now. Roy, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. I don't have an upper memory manager of any sort right now. If I just, and I'm running DOS 3. If I go to DOS 5, is that going to give me quite a bit of help, or do I have to go ahead and get a upper memory manager of some sort?
What kind of computer are you on?
Compact 386.
CEMM should be included with a 386.
CEMM?
Yeah, it's weak. It's the weakest memory manager out there. There are several serious problems with it.
But it makes a lot of sense to upgrade to 5.0, don't you think?
Yeah, the ability to put most of the DOS kernel in the HMA is significant. Yeah, 5.0 is highly recommended, but I would consider either QMM or 386 to the max to go with it.
I'd like to elaborate a little bit. I'm semi-computer illiterate, shall we say, but I'm trying to run graphics AutoCAD on it, and so I'm trying to use all the memory I can get, and That's what I was wondering if this 5.0 is going to give me a noticeable difference, or should it go to something bigger and
If
better?
you're going to use AutoCAD, I'd recommend 5.0. Just because of compatibility problems and things, 5.0 makes a big difference. It's well worth the price just for that reason. To be more compatible, I'd upgrade to 5.0 for auto if you're going to use AutoCAD.
Great.
All right? Thanks for calling. Peter, do you have a question?
Yes, earlier the guest mentioned the stealth feature of quarterdeck. I was wondering, what exactly does stealth do, and why do you recommend against using it?
Well, stealth gives you the ability to locate your page frame over much of the ROM BIOS in the Fox segment. And then it dynamically swaps out ROM code when it's called. If you do a dir of A:, the ROM for the floppy drive controller is located in the area that the page frame is over. And so the QEMM will map a piece of the page frame out, map the ROM BIOS in so that the call can happen. There are a couple of things that are incompatible or quasi-compatible with it. Stealth feature has difficulty with programs that do direct disk I/O to the page frame in many cases. And there is generally a way to get around that by setting what's called a DBF buffer to at least 2. That's a parameter, a parameter that you would give QEMM. It's defined in the manual. But that takes, it's either 2 or 4K. I don't remember if it's 1K each or 2K each, out of your lower conventional memory, out of your 640K. So that's a trade-off for, a very precious resource. The compatibility and the potential for data loss, if you should run a program that does direct disk I/O from or to the page frame, is what worries me.
All right. That answer your question?
Yes, the age is, I'll say 120.
Close. Oh, but you win anyway.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks for calling. Well, we forgot to ask Roy, but we have one caller, but we only have about 30 seconds left, right? Well, why don't we take one real fast? We'll take a real question. We'll ask him to say it really fast. Emmett, do you have a question? You have like 5 seconds.
Very much. I'm having trouble. I've got DOS 3.1, and I'm having trouble running it. I have tried it both with QEMM 386 and without, and I keep getting a DOS 16M error in a square bracket 17. It says the system software does not follow the VCPI or the DPMI specification. Could you tell me what my problem is?
There is no valid DOS earlier than DOS 3.3, period.
No, it's the Lotus 3.1.
Yeah, I know.
No, but I would upgrade
okay.
to hey, can you stay on the line? We'll answer the question as soon as we get finished here, all right?
Thank you.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I want to thank you guys both for coming. This is David Aldridge and Roger Thompson. My name's Steve Reeves. Stay tuned for next week's show is Carlos. It'll be talking about the Amiga computers. Thanks everyone for calling. Oh, by the way, Larry, you won the Rockets tickets, and all the rest of you, win your choice of software. Thanks everyone for calling, and thanks for watching the show. We'll see you next week.